Hey there, Michelle. How you feeling today?
I'm good. Lindsay, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be on the microphone. I just came off one of our amazing monthly fluency parties for all students in our courses. It was so fun to meet some of our students. So I'm feeling that energy of the
That's
party.
great. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I hope it was fun. I'm sure it
It
was
was
a
fun.
great time. Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yesterday I was at the park with my kids and
Ah.
there was I tried to give them freeze-dried strawberries.
Okay.
And let's just
Interesting.
say those are messier than I could have ever imagined. Like, there was, strawberry all over my baby's face, like, all over. It looked like she had eaten, like, Cheetos, you
Chocolate
know?
or Cheetos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cheetos, but it was red, and it was all
Oh
around her mouth.
no.
She looked like a horror movie. So
Oh my
she's
God. That's
but
hilarious.
so then I was wiping everything off, and there was just so much trash that I needed to throw out because I had wipes
Yeah.
and I had other snacks, and it was gross. So I had
Oh,
all this
Michelle.
trash, yeah, at the playground, but I made sure I cleaned it up.
Oh, wow. I feel like every day is an adventure when you have kids, isn't it? I think our listeners are gonna resonate with you here. Just a total adventure.
I wish I could. I should send you more pictures in the moment, Lindsay. Once
You
I
really
know I
should.
sent you a chocolate on my pants.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
It's just you make it you're making it work, Michelle.
I'm
You're just
making it work.
making it work.
I'm
You're
making it
making it work.
work. So there was a lot of trash. But today we are actually talking about trash, Lindsay.
Trash. Trash. I know when we signed on today, I said, "Michelle, what's the topic of this episode?" You said, "Trash." I said,
Sounded a
"Okay,
little
interesting.
funny, right? All right. Okay, Michelle.
All right. Let's get
But
into it."
yeah, so we're gonna get into it. But before we do that, we want to talk about something exciting that's been going on recently on our podcast, Lindsay, and that is our Spotify polls. So
Yes.
yeah, Lindsay, did you know that 20% of our listeners have been on a helicopter ride?
Is that so, Michelle? That is surprising to me. I love it.
Right? That is
Oh, I
surprising.
We're learning so much about our listeners every time we post a new poll. And what did we talk about, by the way, in that episode 2082?
Yeah, we were talking about the expression, "Is that so?" Or like, "Is that so?" when you're kind of surprised
Yeah.
about something. And it's funny since now that we're talking about this, I realized even in the past couple days that I was using, "Oh, is that so?" So it really is
Oh,
used.
interesting. So you listened to our podcast and learned from our little lesson
I
there
did.
on that one and took it
Yes.
into the real world in that case,
Yes.
Michelle. It sounds like.
Exactly. So yeah, we asked you guys on this poll, have you ever been on a helicopter ride? So 80% of you have not, but 20% of you have.
Kind of surprising,
I know.
actually.
I did think
20%.
that was, yeah, that's kind of a high number. Lindsay, have you been on a helicopter?
I have not, Michelle. I've never been on a helicopter ride,
Would you?
but I would, of course I would. I think I said in that episode I'd go
Yeah.
over the Grand
Oh,
Canyon. I
right.
mean, yeah, of
Oh,
course I
yeah,
would
we
if
were
I
talking
could.
about where we would like to what we would like to see from the helicopter, that's right.
Yes.
So guys,
Yes.
look out because we have polls really on every episode, actually.
Yes. Yes, and we announced some very important ones, but guys, there are polls every day for every episode, so go and participate, make your voice heard. We wanna understand you all, our listeners, right? So vote in the polls. Love it.
Great. And we also wanted to take this time to thank our reviewers, right, Lindsay?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to call out some amazing listeners who have reviewed our show. Thank you to Shireen Zangiabadi from the US, Ling Long, who left us, by the way, Michelle, an amazing 5-star
Thank
review. It's
you.
so heartwarming. You should go read it. It's
Okay.
incredible.
Thank you, Ling Long.
Yeah. Yeah, Alofazi Faizi from the US and English Shiva from the US. And English Shiva asked us a great question. You can also do that, guys. You can
Yes.
ask us a specific question. If it's a good one, we will feature that question in an episode. So you can actually ask your question right in that review, along with telling us what you think about the show. And thank you to Mehran from Iran. Guys, leave us a review for All Ears English. If you haven't yet, we read these every week and we pay attention to them. It matters how you feel about All Ears English, so let us know.
That's right. Thank you so much, guys. So
Yes.
today's question comes to us from Spotify, actually.
Yes. Love it. You can also ask questions in
Yeah.
Spotify. So Spotify now has a lot of interesting ways to participate, to interact with us. So Michelle, I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and read the question. It is from Renee Santana, and he or she said, "I'd like to know the difference between sky and heaven, and garbage and trash.
Okay.
Thanks from the Dominican Republic.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much. Great questions. We're gonna do the trash question today.
Love it. How
So
trashy.
yes, how trashy. So, before we go into that, guys, we're gonna really jump into this now. Get into the trash. We listen to episode 2093 of All Ears English. Was her and I or her and me? Your grammar questions answered.
Grammar. Yeah, we've been getting into a lot of grammar this fall on All Ears English to make
Yeah.
sure you guys really understand the fundamentals, right? The grammar that is kind of that missing piece, even at the highest level. But today, I'm excited to get into trash. So, where do we
Okay.
start today?
All right. So where do we start? Okay. So we're going to focus on garbage and trash. The difference. So I looked it up in the dictionary. So it said trash is discarded matter or refuse, and garbage is wasted or spoiled food and other refuse as from a kitchen or household. So that
Okay.
so that I
Hmm.
thought was interesting because I mean, if I were to just ask you the question now, I shouldn't have told you the dictionary
You
answers,
shouldn't
but
have told me.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
what do you, I mean, can you think back
I,
on what you would have thought the difference was?
I really think I wouldn't have been able to tell you the
Yeah.
difference. I don't think there's a big enough difference to really for it to really matter for connection, which is our goal here at All Ears English. But maybe I'm wrong. Let's
No,
see if I'm
I
wrong.
mean I agree with you. I mean, I spent some time looking. There's a website I looked at, difference.guru, and it talks a lot about like
Mm.
things and how fast they decompose, and
Oh boy.
it's, I'm looking right here, trash, things that slowly decompose, garbage, things that rapidly decompose, and how, if it's wet or
Oh.
dry, and
Oh
all of
no. Oh, but native speakers, they don't think about that when they go and say, I'm
no,
gonna take out the what do you say? I'm gonna take
I
out
would say
the what?
trash.
Okay, take out the trash. Maybe it's the T and the T. It works, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
maybe it
take
just
out the
sounds,
trash.
it flows better, but I don't think like, oh, how fast does it decompose before, like, or is it food or is it not food? Like, it doesn't
No
matter
way.
what's in the trash. I call it the trash.
Yes, or the garbage if you're
Yeah,
me. I mean,
yeah, which, oh, you say garbage?
sure. No, so when it comes so I am the trash person in my house, meaning I I take out the trash. That's my job, my duty, and I hold on to that duty to,
With a badge of
support my
honor.
household. Yes. Every Sunday night I move the trash to the curb and I collect it a couple times a week, and I usually say take out the trash. Sometimes I might say take out the garbage. But I feel like take out the trash has a little bit more of a ring to it. But honestly, I think it's a little arbitrary,
Yeah,
Michelle, the
I don't
difference.
think if anybody said, "Oh, take out the garbage," I'd be like, "What
It's
are you
totally
talking
fine.
about?"
It's totally correct, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I think I just say trash more than garbage. I know this sounds funny, but I was thinking garbage almost sounds a little bit more formal to me in the as
Really?
far as
Yeah. Yeah, you
gross
might hear it a
stuff
little bit.
goes.
Yeah, I feel like you might hear it a little bit less. You
Yeah,
might just hear it. Trash might be the more common term, but
yeah.
garbage, totally legit.
Yeah. And then there's litter, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
what is litter, Lindsay?
That is different. That's definitely
Yes.
different. So that is when someone, I think it's used more maybe as a verb to litter. When
Yeah.
there's garbage or trash that's in places that it shouldn't be. I
Yes.
guess that would be how I would define that. Would you say
Yes.
so?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. I would say like litter, like it's so funny talking about this. Litter is always trash or garbage, but trash and
Trash
garbage is
is
not always litter.
always litter. Right, because trash and garbage is usually in the trash can or the garbage can. It's not always on the street, but when it is on the street where it doesn't belong, it becomes litter.
Exactly. There you go.
I'm excited to get into this, Michelle. Maybe after we go through this, we'll talk a little bit about, well, there's one thing I think we missed that I want to highlight, which is
Okay.
compost.
Ah,
Compost.
tell us about
So,
compost. I think we've talked
yeah.
about this before, but you know more about it than I do.
Yeah, well, when I was living in Cambridge, which is it's a liberal city, it's a forward-thinking city, the city delivered us little compost bins, and that's for food trash. That's for banana peels or
Yeah.
kale stalks that you didn't eat, things like that. And I would always measure how healthy I was that week based on how much compost there was. But since I moved to Denver, we don't even have that. We don't compost here.
Mhm.
So I think more like forward-thinking cities do have composting programs.
I thought
Actually, I think
Denver would I would
I
guess that
know.
Denver would have it.
So I would too. I was surprised when I moved here. I figured Denver would be on par with Cambridge.
Yeah.
I think they have one, but you have to pay for it, which
Oh,
tells you how
interesting.
committed I am. Yeah, so I need to look into that and should start that program up. But do you compost in your city in New
Mm,
York where you live?
I don't. I don't wear I don't. I feel bad saying that, but I
That's
don't.
okay. That's okay. It's a journey, right? I haven't heard much about it lately. Maybe it's not happening as much anymore, but most people just will put food trash in the garbage, which yeah, we do our best, right, Michelle? We do our best. It's
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
It's
yes,
okay.
yes.
What else?
And well, then there's recycling also, which that's a whole
Right.
other discussion because I've talked to people who say a friend of mine, she used to work with like city recycling. I don't know. And
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
and she said that so many things just get in the wrong place and it's just sometimes you
Uh,
wonder if it's even worth it because
right,
there's so
right, right.
many directions you need to follow and if it's not exactly right, it might not even happen.
Right. It is a little complicated sometimes what can be recycled and what can't. And I feel like people don't always fully understand it. I don't know if I fully
I
understand all the
Yeah, you
nuances
just
of
try
that, to
your
be
best.
honest. We certainly recycle, but I'm sure that I
Yeah.
make mistakes. And I'm sure someone on the other end is, gritting their teeth and thinking, oh, this is not meant to be in recycling. This person did it wrong. But
Yeah.
again, we're just trying to take little steps towards
Right.
being more towards
Environmentally.
supporting the environment.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Exactly. So let's talk about though other ways that these words can be used. So overall, when you could probably imagine, these aren't nice things to say.
No.
so so the
No,
first
but
one
they're
is
used a
just
lot.
is just trash. So this is like to call. Have you ever heard somebody called trash or something called
Oh,
trash?
yeah, I would never use this to refer to a
No.
person. I would stay away from that just out
Yes,
of respect for human beings,
you don't want to say this, but if you hear it, you'll know what it means.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah, that's so for example, you saying someone's behavior, that's trash what you're doing. Your behavior is trash,
Yeah.
right? Like, wow, his behavior was total trash yesterday.
Right, 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 right. So or like let's say even if you're just having a debate with someone for a little personality, if so you could say like, "Oh, that's trash." Like that's not true. Like I
Oh,
disagree.
yeah.
You could do something like that, but you got to be careful with this one because it is not nice.
You do need to be careful with it. Yeah, there are certain things around just human beings needing basic respect, right? And the next one is trashy, right? So
Trashy.
I hear this even more than
Yeah.
just trash. What does it mean, Michelle?
It's
Would you
not
say?
it means not good. It's usually like a negative behavior or maybe something what somebody is wearing that's not very classy. Like sometimes right don't they
Yeah.
say like classy or trashy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Not classy, right? The
Yeah.
opposite of classy is trashy. So, for example, did you see the photo on the magazine? It was so trashy. Well, that's a good example of a kind of a somewhat benign way to use trashy
Right.
is by talking about the tabloids, the
Yes.
tabloid magazines, right? It's always like, oh, Britney Spears and da da da, pictures of the stars and in their sunglasses and hats. Pretty trashy, right?
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. So you might hear that a lot. And like Lindsay said, it's more benign. I mean, you're talking about someone you don't know. I mean, we still like to be nice, but
Yeah, be
these are things
careful.
people
Yeah.
talk about. So
Yeah, and there are a lot of other ways it's used, and just be careful what you say about people and who's around, that kind of thing. But I think find the more benign ways, and that's a
yeah,
good example. And the next one, love it.
it's trash talk. So what is
Yeah,
trash talk, Lindsay?
you see this a lot in sports. Right.
Yeah,
So the players on the other team will be making comments to the team, maybe to distract them or to bring them down. For
yeah.
example, the players did a lot of trash talking to distract their opponents. This is always funny when, like, I'm a tennis player and in tennis, you don't do trash talk. But when
Uh,
you bring someone that doesn't play tennis into tennis, sometimes you hear trash talk and it's just funny. Like, it's out of place,
oh,
but it's
really?
hilarious.
That's
Yeah,
interesting. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
for sure.
that. I will
Yeah,
know
no,
to avoid trash talk the
there's
next
no
time I
trash
play
talk in
tennis.
tennis. Not really. No, no, no.
Um, And then, so let's just talk quickly about garbage. So I got some help from the free dictionary. But yeah, sometimes you can just say, like how I said, that's trash. You can also say that's garbage. And I feel like that might almost be more common. Like if somebody says, for example, oh, you've never been there, you might say, oh, that's garbage. I was there last week.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Michelle. This is a real nuance, guys. On All Ears English, you get the real
Yes.
nuances here of English. I agree that when someone says something, and if you want to negate that or say that's incorrect, that's garbage.
Yeah.
I was there last week. More common than that's trash. For some
Yes.
reason, it's a better chunk. It
Yes.
works.
Yes. Or if something is just really awful or not nice, you say that
Yeah.
TV show is garbage. I don't think you should be watching it.
Yes, 100%. I love that. Okay. So guys, clearly you can use the words trash and garbage to refer to other things in life beyond just the physical bag of food waste, right?
Yes. Yes.
And we've shown you how. Let's do a role play.
All right. We're going to use as many contexts as we can. So here we are cleaning up after a party.
Oh, wow. Look at this mess.
Wow. We got to clean up this garbage.
Definitely. There's also some trash over there in the corner.
Ew, there's a cockroach. Okay, it's gone now.
Oh, good.
You really got to keep this place cleaner, Lindsay.
That's garbage, Michelle. This is just because of the party.
Okay. Did you see Raquel's dress?
Yeah, it was super trashy.
Definitely.
Okay, I like this. We showed our listeners a lot of ways
Yes.
to use these terms. Where do we start?
All right. So, I said we got to clean up this garbage. So I could have said trash too. That would have been fine. I'm not analyzing in my head what is it composed of? I don't think that.
No.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time with that. Yeah, no, native speakers don't do that. So in this case, if you're just looking at a mess that you have to clean up after a party, it's trash or it's garbage. Totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, then what did you say?
And then I said, definitely. There's also some trash over there in the corner.
Mm-hmm. And then when there's a cockroach situation, and then I'm scolding you, and I say, you got to keep this place cleaner, Lindsay. And you say, that's garbage, Michelle. This is just because of the party. So I'm kind of accusing you of not keeping your place together, which is not nice of me. And you're firing back. You're saying, that's garbage. This is just because of the party. This is not how I usually live.
Yeah, it's just another comeback, kind of. It's just another way you can kind of refute what someone is saying and stand up for yourself, right? I'm going to start using this. I don't think about using this, but I will.
Okay.
And then you said, did you see Raquel's dress? And I said, yeah, it was super trashy, right? So what does that mean in that case? What am I saying?
It was probably a little revealing.
Yeah.
A little too revealing. Yeah. Maybe not so, I don't know, tacky, you know.
Yeah, and I'd say just be a little bit careful with this, around, body concepts.
Yes.
And if someone overhears you, you just want to be,
I
guess it's just basic respect. You know what I mean? But yeah, people definitely do use it in that context to critique how someone looks. For sure.
Yes, it's not a nice thing to do. We're teaching all the not nice things on this episode.
Right, for sure. Oh, man. Michelle, where should we leave our listeners? I like this episode because we've taken something that felt so mundane and we've made it kind of interesting by showing our listeners how we take it into another level, figuratively speaking.
Right. So these words garbage and trash, I mean, we talked about literal garbage and trash and we could have just ended it there, but we realized that there's so many more ways you can use these words, whether they are nice or not. We hope you guys are all being nice, but there are, like Lindsay said, find the benign ways to use them. Talk, I think that's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah, like I said, the tabloids are definitely trashy. There's no arguing against that. And other things rather than directly about someone or how they look. That's always a good way to have more connection in your life. We want connection. We want relationships. So good stuff, Michelle. And I want to remind our listeners, guys, if you love our style of connection, not perfection, review us. Write a review wherever you listen. Right, Michelle?
That's right. Please review our podcast wherever you listen. And also remember, you can ask questions in Apple Podcasts. You can ask questions on Spotify, Instagram. So please send your questions.
Yeah, good stuff. I'll talk to you soon, Michelle. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.